Wisconsin, where the deadline for protesters to leave the Capitol building has come and it is gone. Our Ted Rollins has been in the crowd all day for us. So, Ted, is anybody leaving?
A couple folks have left, Don, but the deadline is now an hour past. As you can see, there are still people here. Hundreds of people are still here at the Capitol. Some of them sitting here in anticipation of getting arrested. The people in the gray shirts say that they are willing to be arrested and they want to be arrested first. Now, what we've just found out, though, from the police chief is that it doesn't look like any of these people are going to be arrested anytime soon, because the strategy now for law enforcement is to proceed with what is going on now and try to convince people one by one to leave the Capitol so that they can clean it. I just talked to the police chief and he said people are going to have to try real hard to get arrested. We don't want anybody arrested, and we're willing to spend the night here and try to convince these people to leave, let us clean it, this Capitol building, and then come back tomorrow. But people aren't willing to leave for a number of different reasons. Malin Mitchell is with the Professional Firefighters Association here in Wisconsin, and your union is not affected by this, but your union has been here in solidarity. Why are you here now after the deadline, and why are your unions not leaving the Capitol?
Well, we are here to make sure we show support to our fellow brothers and sisters. This is not just about us. This is a movement that's bigger than anybody, one individual that's here. We are here because we want to stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters. We have to make sure that workers' rights are taken care of, the middle class in the state of Wisconsin is taken care of, and what you see here is people making sure that their First Amendment right is taken care of as well. It's our constitutional right for free speech. So the last 14 days, we've been exercising our constitutional right. The firefighters as well as the police officers continue to be here until the job is done, until every person's voice is heard, until every worker has the rights that we've had for 75 years with collective bargaining.
Police Chief Tubbs comes up to you and says, please leave, will you leave?
If Police Chief Tubbs comes up to me and says, will you leave, I will say, are you sure? But I think we will come to a general consensus, and we should be able to stay, that we have the right to be here. This is the people's house. This is the house of labor. This is the house that Wisconsin built. So I think we should be here, firefighters, police, as well as AFSCME, our brothers and sisters, in solidarity, and we will continue to be here until the job is done.
All right, Don, another one of these deadlines seems to have come and gone in this never-ending stalemate here in the state of Wisconsin. For now, at least, protesters remaining inside the Capitol Rotunda.
And I'm sure, Ted, you're having a little bit of a hard time hearing, but we want to continue with this for a little bit because it's very interesting what's happening. If you guys can pan off and we can look at the crowd, and Ted, let's just talk here. As you were speaking, it was hard to hear what they were saying. Yeah. Were they saying, we won't go home? What are they chanting there?
Been chanting a number of different things throughout the evening, as you might imagine. When there was an announcement that the Capitol was closed, the chant was, hell no, we won't go. And from there it has gone to, this is what democracy looks like, et cetera, et cetera. And basically what you're seeing is people that are committed to staying until they're forced to go. But you have this sort of total turnaround from the police here saying, you know what, we're not going to let you force us to pull you out. We're going to try our best to try to convince you. The one thing that they have been able to do is clear the top floors of the Capitol building. Those floors were filled with people for the last week and a half, and they've successfully convinced people to at least move down to what this is called the first floor. There's another floor below us, the bottom of the rotunda, and for the most part, the bottom floor and the top floor has been completely cleared out in terms of protesters. A lot of people have left, but at this point, these folks, and there are hundreds of them, say they're not going anywhere.
All right, Ted Rollins, stand by. I'm sure we'll be coming back to you. It's interesting. This has been going on for about 2 weeks now. As you can see there, the people in the Capitol in Wisconsin say they are not going, even though they've been told to leave. They said they need to clean the building. So we're going to continue to follow this developing story. And that's not the only protest going on when it comes to this situation. The protests in Wisconsin are inspiring similar scenes all across the country. In New Hampshire, in Colorado, in California, thousands of union supporters in a show of solidarity on Saturday. There were counter-protests in many areas, but on a smaller scale in general. We'll continue to follow that. Let's go to Libya now.